you can have your seat. God bless Nigeria. It's a pleasure to welcome everybody once again to day 2 of this event put together by Taking All Men Daughter. And at this juncture, I want everybody here seated, whether you were here yesterday or you're just coming for the first time, please let's put our hands together for the organizers of this event. Someone sent me a note yesterday while the event was on. Was supposed to just give me a particular person and go his way. He said, I need. What he meant, he said he needed to wait and just listen through before he leaves. Telling you the value of what we're doing here, how wonderful it is, how loaded the sessions were. And I can assure you today will be no different. In fact, today will be better. So once again, a round of applause for the organizers. Let me also appreciate every resource person that was here yesterday. From very Reverend Shegun Babalala, he just walked in now. A round of applause for him. I wish Olakunle Onigide Baba himself. A round of applause for Baba now. Mr. Rafi Lawani, the representative of Mr. Yusuf. A round of applause for him too. Dr. David Akeju. All the way from University of Lagos, a round of applause for him too. Dr. Babatunde Oni was also represented, a round of applause for him. Dr. Joseph Tiatang, we couldn't have him. And we will be having another session today. You know, we had a session yesterday on economic perspective, on freedom of religion. So what we will have today is what we were supposed to start with yesterday. We will start with it today. And that is the Islamic perspective on freedom of religion from Professor Afis Ayinde Oladoshu. We already have the representative here, Dr. Adams Olufemi Akewula. Is he around? Thank you so much for coming. Please let's appreciate it. So you'll be taking us on the Islamic perspective on freedom of religion any moment from now. But let's really do a recap of what we learned yesterday. Reverend Shegun Abdul Fatai Babalala, he opened the floor for us yesterday and he took us through the different stages. And he even told us the states of religion in Nigeria. Can anybody remind us the 3 states? The current state of religion in Nigeria. Anybody? What is happening to religion currently? Yes. Okay. Yes. Abuse. Restricted. Okay. In that. It's almost the same thing. Okay. But don't worry. Yes, I get you. I just need someone else to talk. No problem. You are fine. A round of applause for him. I hope you have news so people remember what we did yesterday. Yes. Hindered. Restricted or limited. A round of applause for him. If I'm the one talking, there might be problems. So I need to know that you know what we learned yesterday. Okay? Okay, don't worry. I won't do this. I wanted to unpick. But I want someone, a male and a female, preferably across the faiths. You were here yesterday. Can you please just come forward and share with us in 1 minute what you learned?
I'm representing Project Information Technology in Oyo State. Actually, the only one thing I can say again yesterday is that the 3 major religions in Nigeria, in one way or the other, we are connected. And if one party or other party is fighting for God, you are just wasting your strength. The main thing that we need is just to understand how each religion are being and how different religions are seeking God's faith. That's what it is.
Thank you very much. And thank you for making it brief. Now, do you have somebody with another idea? Now, want to share with us briefly? Okay. So, like that.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Your name?
My name is Yusuf. What I learned yesterday is that all these, like Jesus, Muhammad, and all these idol, Mila, and everybody are just intermediary for us to go. So we don't have to fight each other. They just know that we are worshiping one God. They are just intermediary, Jesus, Muhammad, and everyone. So we don't need to be fighting each other. We are one. So we are Nigerian. Some of our politicians, those are the major causes of this because of this, because they get to know that Nigeria has no religion, Nigeria has no religion, practice none and recognizes all. Even it may be an artist, it may be a pagan, it may be anything. Let everybody worship what they like. We are all, everyone of us is worshiping God. So everyone should be free to worship what they like.
Thank you very much. Do you have one more question? I think the lady. The females. Too many hardware here. Thank you, man.
Good morning. My name is Victoria Afolabi. Yesterday there were lots of things for, and I just want to restate that somebody said that if you are able to remove from our constitution state of origin
yes.
and religion,
yes.
that you are going to have peace, and I totally agree with that. That person. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, these are take homes. Take homes. Do you have another female? I know it's male hands that we are seeing here. Can we have another female? Try it. Okay, let's take one male. You spoken now? You spoken, right? Yeah, let's give someone who has not. And we'll call it rap.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen.
Okay.
Yesterday I learned that the key to nation building is to be able to tolerate one another's religion, irrespective of religious religion. And I also learned that there are different religions, and the mode at which each and every one of them seek God is quite the same, but kind of different perspective and view of how they relate to.
Thank you very much. Yeah. You know, if I remember what Dr. Ake, he made attempts to show us similarities, even in our worship. You know, I discovered that there's really, of the three main religions that we're talking about now, both the traditional and the Christian religion and Islamic, all of us have something like roses, like Tesibu, because I can see something on my neck now. And if a Muslim is on a rosy, I only the Tesibu about this one. But, you know, I discovered that we all have this thing. So what exactly is our problem anyway? What exactly is our challenge? Of course, people have indicted politics, saying politicians, you know, have used it to divide us. But you know one thing I've discovered? Whether you are an animist, an atheist, a Muslim or Christian, even politicians, when it comes to sharing money, they are always united. They are always united. So maybe we can find a reason from there. We'll soon go to focus groups today, so we might see what we can do about that. Mr. Jesudara from Space FM 90.5, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, our media partners. And Ashiwaju Oladejo, thank you so much for coming. Okay, let's go straight to the first session for today. As regards religion, you notice that's probably the only religion, of course, arguably, that we did not take or hear from yesterday, the Islamic religion. And to do justice to this, representing Professor Afeez Ayinde Oladoshu, we'll be having Dr. Adams Olufemi Akewula. I like that name. A round of applause for him as he comes up to take his share and he'll be presenting the brilliant. Professor Afeez Ayinde Oladoshu is a professor at the Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. His specialization straddles Middle Eastern and North African studies. He equally has competence and expertise in literary criticism, pragmatics, Islam and gender, and Islamic law and jurisprudence. He was once a Bill Gates Scholar and Fellow, African Scholar Program, University of Massachusetts. He has also previously worked as a visiting scholar at the International Islamic University, Malaysia, amongst others. He is presently a visiting scholar at the University of Ghana, Accra, Ghana, and a board member of the National University Commission, NUC. Please let's put our hands together to appreciate the representative of Professor Oladoshu, Dr. Adams Olufemi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First and foremost, let me appreciate the organizer of today's program. I appreciate you for this inter-religious and intercultural program that you are holding. Secondly, my supervisor, my teacher, who is unavoidably absent today, Professor Hafiz Adeoladosu, asked me to tender his apology because he has another engagement at Abuja. My teacher is also here. The person of Professor, I call him Professor Obafemi Jegede. Good morning, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ̀yin bàbá wa kẹ̀kẹ́ fún wa. Ẹ káàárọ̀. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The topic of Professor Ayinde Oladosu is on terrorism under the guise of Islamic jihadist movement. There's a question raised because in academic environment, the first thing they normally do is that there should be a statement of problem. They now ask, do this represent the teachings of Islam? Do this represent the teaching of Islam? Without wasting much of our time, when you look at the abstract, I will quickly summarize what is in the abstract of Professor Hafiz Ayinde Oladosu. The question raised here, which is research question, is that does the text, that is the scripture of Muslim, reflect Muslims themselves? So there is a difference between the scripture and the adherent of that particular scripture. The Quran is the scripture of the Muslim, known as the reading or the recitation, but heavenly reversed scriptures. But when you now see someone who is Jabbar, is he an adherent of that particular scripture, or is he among those who memorize the scripture but do not understand or do not comprehend the scripture? That is the first question raised by Professor Hafiz Oladosu. Then when you look at the society, you see that the issue of terrorism, extremism, and even fundamental issues like what we call fundamentalists is now germane in our environment. Can we move forward, please? I have 20 minutes. Looking at this particular environment, there is insurgence of a particular group called Boko Haram group. You see, when you say Boko Haram, I do educate some of my people that when you talk about Boko, Boko is not book. Boko is Kanuri language. I also argue with Professor Hafiz, but later I agree with me when I said Litapi is Arabic, is Hausa language for book, and Takada is exercise book for book. So this Boko is not Hausa language. Boko is Kanuri language. Aram is Arabic language. It is now what we call, code, switching or code mixing in linguistics by bringing Kanuri language and Arabic language together, which means, Aram ideology, that is the forbidden ideology. Which ideology is now forbidden? I think we have some people who call, West-Humanics and, Westophabians. And we quickly go so that now, Ayinde Oladosu, the first thing he did was to give us the definition of, what we call, terrorism. He began from, most of, French language and English language are derived from, Latin word. And from Latin to French, they said English. I don't know how to pronounce this because I'm not a French speaker. Terrere or terrorisme, which simply means terrorism. So these are the definitions given to it. The first definition is which features individuals. It could be an individual or group carrying out violence directly against the public. For some of us that we are here, someone can carry out violence against us, and I personally, someone can also carry out violence against me or against civilians, which could be the state or the nation. He also, further defined that an action that has the effect of spreading fear by preventing people from taking any security measures against physical or property damage. Then this terrorism could be overt in the sense that it could be public. Someone can, say that we are going to attack a particular state. Or it could be hidden. That is, they are going to just, creep in. They will not allow people to, they can come in the, midnight, by 12 midnight or 1 a.m. So it could be like that. It could also be through, serial murders, killing people. It could be burning houses or bombings. Now, it now raises one issue, because there is something for us to understand the religion. Before you understand religion, the first thing is, which language is that religion, projecting? Islam, use Arabic as language. Then if you want to understand Islam properly, I'm a specialist in Arabic. The first thing we look in the language is that how did the original speaker use the language? For instance, Jesus Christ spoke with Arabic. Some of his words were translated into Hebrew, because those languages were Semitic language. Someone cannot say that he wants to recite a Jogbe or a Yeku for me, and he starts using English language. He must come to Yoruba land, learn that particular language, what we they call Odu. And that is the reason why Oladosuna said, is that particular word a rehab or half in Quran 22 verse 155, where God says that I will test you with fear. Is it the same fear that God says that these so-called terrorists are now using? Then it's another word of fazil, that is threat, that someone can have when the thunder strike. That one is natural. Tsunami can come. It is just natural disaster. But it is not for human being to now wage war on other human beings and call it as an aspect of, Irihab. He also used semantics of terror, which is that T stands for terrorism, or terror. Terror is a tactic of demanding for impossible, something that is impossible, and means so at gun or even slapping someone. You can't tell your child that this is the course I want you to study in the university. I will not say, okay, if you don't study that course, I will not pay your school fees. It means that you are terrorizing the child. So, because it is impossible for someone to say that US must become an Islamic state. And at the same time, it is not possible for someone that we want to Christianize the southwest or eastern part of Nigeria or Abuja, because the president is a Muslim, must belong to, Muslim to become an Islamic state. It's not possible. Because God himself says that, Walau sha Allah, let me quickly come to that aspect. If God wants, La ja'alakum ummatan wahida, he would have made you to be a nation. Wala yazaluna mukhtalifin. Even if you are one, you will still see the differences between among you. We are all Yorubas. America, they are Yorubas. We are all Yorubas in Nigeria. Ghana, they are Yorubas. You will still see, this is Ghanaian Yoruba, this is Nigerian Yoruba, this is Ijebu Yoruba, this is Egba Yoruba. You will still find that differences. Then terror is also the weapon of the outlaw against the oppressor. It is, started during, that Boko Haram in Nigeria, a man called Muhammad Yusuf, Jamaatu Izalatu Bidia. Their group is called Jamaa. Jamaa is a society. Izalatu Bidia means that to remove, syncretism from religion, which is Islam. That is the name they give to them. Or the name they name their society. But later, they now said they are Boko Haram. But I'm still coming to that aspect. It is an emotion caused by the sight of an evil or peril, that is terror. It's also warfare by extreme means. Can we quickly go to another, so that we know? Then approaches to anti-terrorism. There are how, the terrorists carry out their operation. There is also an approach. United States has state level. What they normally quote is that either you are with us or with the terrorists. Secondly, under the what we call ISWT, division of Muslims into good and bad Muslims. Say good Muslims, bad Muslims. Those are the approach. Then the psychological war on terror. Psychological war on terror is that when you see someone in hijab, you say these are terrorists, or you see someone that is bad, even if the bed is not as what Professor Olusoyinka's bed. you still regard that particular person as terror. Or when you say someone is Muhammad, you say those people, that is their name. Then economic deprivations, and that is what is happening in our own environment today. And that's why Nigeria is not moving forward, and we can never move forward unless we stop depriving our economy or improvement development through religion and ethnicity. I'm a Muslim. I make first class in a particular discipline. Because I'm a Muslim, I do not have the opportunity to work because the leader of a particular environment or that organization is not Muslim. Or I'm a Christian. Because I'm a Christian, I don't belong to Redeem. I'm a Catholic, so I will not be given the opportunity, and I merit it. But if you travel out of this country to Western world, if you say Allahu Akbar outside, you will get arrested. And if you say Udara Kan Yodwa, you will get arrested. Do it inside your place of worship. So the religion becomes something that is private, that you don't infringe that right given to you, freedom of religion. On the other, can we quickly move through? Then summary, let's quickly go to summary. That summary, which Oladosu defines as the how approach to the challenge posed by terrorism has produced terrorism of anti-terrorism. Because when you are terrorizing, there's no way people will not look for solution, and the solution will not become what? Anti-terrorism. So it will not be that people will not generalize. So people can say single-handedly these are terrorists. No, not every Muslim are terrorists. The how and what approach. The of Muhammad Yusuf began or make the terrorism or Boko Haram emerge in Nigeria. I'm happy that someone mentioned the issue of politics in Nigeria. Otedola and Dangote, they would dine and wine together during the time of Christmas. And when it is Leia, they would dine and wine together. But you want to see the Imam of Samonda and the pastor of Samonda, the two of them will not pay visit to themselves during their festival. And they used the two of them to climb the ladder. This Muhammad Yusuf was a leader of a particular organization in Maiduguri. Jamaat Izatu Bidia. And when the governor of then, Ahmadu Sharif, used them as a movement. For example, someone can use OPC or NURTW in Southwest. Please work for us. Then we now negotiate because it is politics. What are you going to give us? How many commissioners? Because even up to now, people are still asking for their slot from Shijima Gidi. Of course, that is politics. So they asked for that. Unfortunately, the governor did not give them, but because the place is predominantly owned by the Muslims. But they have different societies. They have different sections. What he knew, the governor there knew that the group of this particular man was highest in large number. They made use of them. I know politicians in Nigeria. They promised, but they did not fulfill. They will use Quran and Bible. But ask them, let them come and use gun or water inside radiator. They won't use. But they can use Bible and Quran because they know it is the day of the judgment, which we have not seen anyway. Of course. Then that particular man was later killed brutally by the Nigerian government. Because if you are making violence, I've never seen where Muslims in Southwest and Christians are killing themselves, even with cutlass or even exchanging blows. But the terrorists always do something. They fight against the nation, a particular country. But now can now reflect on the citizens. When this guy was killed brutally, the police said that he wanted to escape, but they have forgotten that they did not remove the handcuff from the leg and the hand. So by the time you killed someone, another man was also sprang up. Later, this particular group, Jamaat Izala, was hijacked by terrorists. They now name it as Boko Haram. And that is what the terrorists, the Muriabun, they call them Muriabun in Arab world. What they normally look for is that they would dodge somewhere. By the time they have the loopholes that, this particular society is getting violence, how do we fight their country? They just come in and they now hijack it. Even the member of those groups who started it may not be there during the time of. Now, another one is global standard. terrorism is an age. You have to stare it in the face, violence for violence. That's Nigerian, the way the Nigerian government doesn't want to dialogue. They don't want to dialogue. And the reason why we have dialogue is, you as Babalawo, personally me as, Alpha, another Christian. Then the only thing is that let us go to, Jogo Center to go and dialogue. I won't ask you to come to Odaba because that is my territory, where, central mosque is. And I won't ask you to go to, Oseleji in Odaba too, where, I won't go to any of your regions. So let's go to somewhere to have a neutral place to dialogue. But Nigerian government will not do that. So the only thing is the violence for violence. And when violence, continues, it will never end. Because you will still, at the end of the day, come back to dialogue. Why don't you, dialogue before, the violence, begins? They promulgated the decree in 2011. Let's form our approach. Then exploring role for religion. The first thing we are going to do is to separate Muslims from Islam. Yes. I wrote my name there. So when the lady that did the registration was looking at me, I wrote, when you say religion, I wrote Islam. But I saw people writing Muslim. They are Muslim, but the religion they asked for is, which religion am I adherent for? I'm Muslim, but Islam is the religion. But do I also portray, a Muslim? Because you can't say someone is a bad Muslim or someone is a good Muslim. The ideology of being a Muslim is derived from the word Islam, that is peace. So if you are now saying that someone is a Muslim, is someone that is exercising peace, on the surface of the heart. So you will now look at, who brought. Let's leave religion, apart now. Let's come down to authorship. My professor is A. When I write a book, the book will portray the author. So Muhammad is the author of Quran. Let's look at it that way, because I've never seen God. But he said that God dictated, through angel to pray. But it's from him. So I would have okay. When you read Psalm, say this is your own. Because another person can also have inspiration. So when we now look at that particular, that book portrays Islam. So anybody that will believe that is a Muslim is now someone that he will believe in that particular Quran. We now look at the author himself. Who is this author? How did he live his life? What did the scripture say about, he himself? He himself said that, there are 73, Muslims, different Muslims. It's only one out of them that is his true follower. Yes, the Muslims who are here will bear me the witness. Which means that 72. When I now say 1 out of 72, how many percentage is that? So now separate Muslims from Islam. Read Islamic book. Then you cannot challenge them, because Muhammad himself separated the Jews and the Christians from Torah and Injil, gospel, when they were living together in Medina. When they came to him, because state elder, he was saying, go and check the gospel. What did the gospel say about what we are doing? They will go back. They won't come back again, because they are not that he has directed them to their source. So now we will now look at the ideological organizational. Now there is a group, we have different ideology, because we cannot think the same. But the interpretation also is the problem that some of those groups also have. There could be sects as far as jurisprudence is concerned. There could be sects as far as theological is concerned. So, but there are some people that carry kasa. They are now, especially those carry kasa are in Southwest now. You will see them. They will take rod or stick, and they can walk from Lagos to Maiduguri. They say because during that particular period of Prophet Muhammad, he also walked from places to another. Okay? But I do tell them that, if Muhammad is alive now and he wants to do propagation of Islam, Omar Nijet. And he also ride Prado. Black one. Black cars is always expensive. Then the Boko Haram as well, and the League. Then of the Westomanic, what do you mean by Westomanic is, I'm speaking foreign language, but it is our official language. So if I really want to understand, ideology of a particular environment, I must be able to, speak, write, understand their language. So I don't have any fear about Western world. The only thing is that the Westerners has taught me that, okay, if you don't want to take it, there is what we call arguments. I'll just argue it. This is the way you see this, way I see it. You can call an elephant wall. I can call elephant pillar because I see the leg of elephant. But you see, the stomach of elephant, and you call it, wall. So I don't have any, but Westophobic. Oyibo, they said that, okay, men and men should be having, sex together. Women and women should be having sex together. That is not my own, problem. Rescue Islam from the Muslim. How do you do that? The first thing we are going to do is al-fitra, which is nature. Where God says that, Hudhulu fi silimi kafa, enter onto your religion wholeheartedly. In peacefully, the word sin, for those who understand Arabic, is salam. And that is why if you hear the word shalom, because they are very close. It's like when you say the Yoruba of Egba, Yoruba of Ijebu. Even there are some Yoruba that they can't understand Yoruba of Ijebu if they don't live in Ijebu. And you can even see that Remo Yoruba is very close to Ijebu Yoruba. So now, of peace and justice, those who are adherents of Islam should, uphold with, peace. And at the same time, they have to be just. They have to be just in the sense that if you do not acquire knowledge properly, for instance now, Muhammad says that if you are working in a particular parastatal, you are the leader, and non-Muslim works for 60% of that interest, and a Muslim work for 40%. You won't say because you are a Muslim and a leader, now change the interest of those particular workers. You must give whatever belongs to, A, what it belongs to you, and give B to what is belongs. How many Muslims, understand that? Is it, Mama in Bodija? They won't understand because they don't have the knowledge of their religion. But the only thing they do is that they can memorize. Ask them that they should say it. You say, Ina Atena, Kalika Osa, Kasali, Le, Robika, Banya. But ask them what is the meaning of what you are reciting. What's a language they are not, you don't need to speak in tongue before I should understand it. Of knowledge and war against ignorance. You must acquire knowledge. Because the first thing, Allah gave the prophet of Islam, Muhammad, that particular assignment of prophethood. The first thing he did was that, Ikra, read. That is, go and have knowledge. He said, Wamana, because I don't know how to read. Now said, Ikra bismillah bika ledikala. Read in the name of your Lord who created, which means that God himself wants us to be knowledgeable. You can't enter paradise with ignorance. Now, it's not possible. You must be educated. So that out of that education we now share, because like I was coming from somewhere yesterday and I saw one Christian singer's pamphlet. And I said, Igbo dudu lai. Igbo dudu lai. That is, this word is what? Dark forest. Of course it is true. Because if a baby is coming to this world and just drop him there, and nobody attends him, if at the end of the day, the lion, comes to this place, and lion just rescue, what will be doing? He will be, round like lion. But if you are educated, your educated is like a light, and that's why they call the elite, through the enlightenment, that they have seen light, because they have already. So there should be knowledge and war against ignorance. It's not that, okay, we should start killing ourselves. Choice, chance, not compulsion. There should what? There should be choice. Because I'm a human being. I'm a Nigerian. I'm not a Saudi. But, I uphold Islam through conviction, not confusion. Then, you should give me chance. Because even, there's no way, if we are all working in the same space. You want to, acquire a particular space, and that is, heart. Muslim will go like this, Christian will go like this. And funniest part of it is that you now say, okay, it is only Muslim and Christianity in this part of the world, not somewhere else, that they are fighting. But France and Britain, they have come to this particular space before, and they did not fight. Nigeria is a British colony. Then, Togo, they are French colony. Before Ghana, British colony again. Did they fight? Now, because they share the same thing in common, let's go and do what? Let's go and exploit them. They exploited us. And they colonized us. So even if, the so-called Muslims or the Christians want us to be in, heaven, I'm not talking of materialism, because that one is the one that is creating problem for us. Even those people who came because of material gain, they did not fight. So, as a Christian, you want me to enter heaven. As a Muslim, you want me to enter paradise. Now, it is only things that, okay, gain your own people, let them go to paradise. Gain your own people, let them go to Adijana. Because there is no any scripture that will say you must steal. In Quran, you won't see it. In the Bible, you must steal, you won't see it. The another one is, not compulsion. And that is what we have in the Quran, where Allah says that La ikraha fi-din. There is no compulsion in religion. There is no compulsion in religion. There are 4 levels. Sharia. Sharia could be individual. I want to live my life in accordance with, Quran and Hadith of the Prophet. Tariqa. I want to follow a particular way. Because there is something we call intellectualism. When you read books, you develop yourself intellectually. And at the same time, spirituality too. You have to develop yourself, spiritually. But you cannot develop spiritually without having proper knowledge. Because even if you are going spiritually and you don't have knowledge, devil will just come one day and say, you can do this, and destroy all what you have labored for. But by the time you have to say, no, it is not allowed. Marifa is, what we call, the knowledge. We have overt knowledge, and at the same time we have another knowledge that is not overt. That one can just come through inspiration. Then akiko, to know the truth. Let me tell you something. I've known the truth in Nigeria. Anytime I do travel a lot, both within and outside the country. If I'm coming from Kano or Port Harcourt, because I'm a union person, so we do travel both on the road and on the air. If I'm coming from Kano or Port Harcourt, it's when I get to Akure that I will be feeling that I'm at home. Yes, I'm a Yoruba person, I'm a Muslim. So if I come from, I should be able to. But if I travel to just common South Africa, and I know that, okay, tomorrow is my what? Is my flight. I will say, I'm still going to that place, man. I want to go. And that is, I have known the akiko that, okay, where I am, mi ò ṣe ayé wa o, ayé kan tó gbé everybody wá lè mi wa o. But mo ṣì wọ̀. Then of 4 features, of 4 features, practicality, you have to practice your religion the way it is. Universality, universe, you cannot, there is no way that, universe within historicity. Look at the history of your religion. Then comprehensiveness and what you call yes, try as much as possible to understand. Islam privileges the why question, that is this question. The wrong notion of the self. In literary theory, there's what we call self and others. Now, of Christians, Jews are Muslims. Then that Quran 123, Quran 4, and even Quran 5 verse 8 also corroborates it. That laisa bi amalikum. It is not your own, according to your own thoughts. Your own thoughts. That is which people's thought. Al-Kitab, that is those people who have been given books. That is the Jews and the Christians. And even the Muslim. Man yaman su'an, whoever does any evil, Yujizabi shall be punished for it. So when you are a Muslim, you now say that, okay, you want to destroy University of Ibadan, for example. A place that was erected for development of a particular nation? Because of what? Is it because of Allah or because of yourself? So you cannot be, so if anybody is now thinking that, okay, I can do evil to favor God, no. Then the second one is the Jews and the Christians. Of course, they say that we are, children of God and the beloved one. They can say, of course, they are the way they call, themselves. Even if you call yourself slave, you call yourself servant, the only thing is total submission. Why did he now punish you for your sin? If you are children, if you are servant, the only thing he wants from you is to, engage yourself in an act of worship. Because to be Muslim is to be accountable. That is what they call al-masuliyah. You will give account of what you do on the surface of the heart. Let's quickly go. Wrong notions of the other. Now, violence for violence is abhorrent to Allah. I'll quickly go to historical aspect from this place. Probably maybe because I don't have time. When here, what are we doing? We are engaging ourselves. And at the end of the day, this theory can now become practicability, which is the aim and objective of this particular workshop. Now, I'm talking to Baba. Baba is dialoguing with me. I'm also dialoguing with him. We now share the same thing in common. Someone come from outside, said, what you are doing is not right. I said, okay, come and sit down. Come and listen to us. We have to engage him intellectually. But if the person now threw, stone to us, what are we going to do? I know that, okay, we cannot move him. The only thing is that we can send the person back through the stone. But Islam now said that if they send one stone to you, the best thing is that don't, throw another one. But if you now want to throw just only one stone, the way they throw it. And even if you are going for war, what, led the war during the time of the they ran away from the oppressors, who are the people of Mecca. Who are the people that remember himself was born among them? Because he's a Qurayshite. He ran away from his people. They waged war against him from home. He later went back. But when he came back, what did he do? So if people wage war against you, now defend yourself. But defend yourself with, the gravity of what they are bringing. And that is why those people who call themselves terrorists, they are not Muslims. Because if you do not follow what Islam preaches, it means that you are not. When Islam says that when you are fighting, you should not touch female. When they send bomb, how many people would they? You should not touch the children. And at the same time, you should not destroy the nature. Because of the environment. Environment was there before the creation of Adam and Eve. God has created it for their use. Then, wrong notion of the stage of dawah. What we call dawah is propagation. And that is what the politicians call campaign. Because I want people to, psychology must do. People psychologically, because you have to psychologically balance before you can call people to, the way of God. Do not think I have come. No, you can see, some people do not even understand the interpretation of verses of scriptures. They will just quote it verbally. In Islam, there are what we call Fabul Nusul, process of revelation. What happened during the time of Prophet Muhammad that God wanted him to react immediately? You cannot bring it to what is happening in our own environment. When they were fighting, at that particular period, they were fighting, but when the war was over, it stopped. So you will not bring it that, okay, when people in my people, you are now killing your Muslim brothers. You cannot say another thing, because some people have suhu farm. They don't have understanding. People now say, do not think I have come to send peace on earth. Rather, I have come to set a man against his mother. It's not that, they are setting them against them so that they should continue to fight or violence. When my students, God said, my students, to me, not that, okay, they should come and make violence, but to try to charge me. Money, why are you worshiping this? I'm worshiping this because of this. But why are you worshiping this, my son? I'm worshiping this because there will always be argument. But our own argument in academic environment doesn't have to do with enmity. Because we believe that I have two eyes. Reverend has two eyes. But Reverend can see beyond the eye I see. And that is why you can see that I'm using, and even Baba, we are using glasses, but he's not using it. So the way you see things physically will be different from the way I will see it physically. Then spiritually too. Then intellectually aspect, of things. Then existential factor. The so-called Muslim must know that what is the purpose of their existence. And وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. I have not created men and the jinn except to worship me. And worship is not to die in the mosque or to fast, during the day that we are born today. But this what we are doing is part of worship, teaching. Muhammad and Jesus Christ, they taught their people from the beginning to the end. They did not die in the mosque. They did not die in the temple. Because they are talking, their people lack what? Knowledge. So that's it. Advocate dawah that will promote economic prosperity, not poverty. People will now say that, okay, peace. Let me tell you something. What do you? The only thing you have to do, worship your God, then face what you are doing, and you'll be prosper. But I do tell some of my colleagues that, please, don't go to church 9 o'clock on Monday. Please. I know that, okay, you can pray in your house by 5 a.m. till 7, but go out. If God wants to choose you, if you are NURTW or OPC, and God wanted to use you for his own way, he just come and symbolically pick you out. But don't say because I want to be used, because people know that, okay, it is a religion that money flows now. So they want to be there. They want to, you don't expect that, okay, you want to perform miracle the way the prophets are performing it. God will just give it to you. It's a gift. Even whether you like it or you don't want it. Muslim Ummah should confront underemployment of the youth. What they should do, the elementary. So this part of environment, because of our understanding, it is what teach me how to catch fish. Not that, okay, you just give me fish. In some other places, the malam will just be there, bring cocoa, he will steal Nigerian money. People will go and drink cocoa, and they will just be drinking it. That's their own culture, not Islam. If I say, who greet themselves like this? They will say, this is not Islamic greeting. This is, northern part of Nigerians greeting. Where Islam came from, they don't squat like this. The greeting is Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullah. That is the greeting. Our own greeting is to prostrate in Yoruba and Abi, and for a female to kneel. So if anybody now takes it to Arab place and say that is the greeting of Islam, that, okay, the culture has crept in the religion. Muslim Ummah should confront informed ignorance, because we have 4 people. Those who know, and that, okay, they know. Those who do not know, but they think they know. Those who know, but they don't know that they know. And those who do not know, and they don't even know that they don't know. So that is the 4th one is Waqul al-Aqwa min rabbikum faman sha'a falyu'min. Promote multiculturalism. This is Quranic verse. Waqul al-Aqwa min rabbikum. Now say the truth from your Lord. Faman sha'a, whoever wish falyu'min. Let him believe. Even Muhammad will say, Wama alayna illa al-balagh. Our own is to tell you. So for you to be convinced or not, that one is for God. Peaceful engagement of Islamophobia, not the promotion of celebration of Westophobia. You're like, this Western world, they are prayer, or this Islamic people, they are so no. Learn about this. Even there is a professor of Islamic religion in Houston University, and he's a Christian. The first professor of Arabic in Nigeria is Professor Isaac Ubi, and he's a Christian, Jehovah's Witness. So the day that Professor Ubi was celebrating the wedding ceremony of his daughter, come and sit up. The daughter now said, Daddy, you want to embarrass me? He said, no, I'm not embarrassing you. I'm even embellish your marriage because if you see these people staying with me, it means that okay, I'm very good. How many Muslims will now, do nikah, you now see pastor day, or pastor will now see no. Then Nigeria is in need of honest and completely legal practitioners. We need legal practitioners that are honest, or judges who can speak truth to power. Not that okay, because if at the end of the day they see the result in our server, this particular person will just ask them that okay, the election is not on void. They will quickly remove him. But who are those people that, or judges who will not turn their court to a space of terror, like the judge in Nasarawa? If you see any terrorist, kill him or her. If you see any Muslim, he's a terrorist. No. Of legal provision, which will not consider me guilty before trial. That is one thing about Nigeria judicial system. Not terrorize me in the name of anti-terrorism. You see, one thing is what happened during the time of Arishekola. It is political, war between Arishekola and one of Nigerian presidents. He blackmailed Arishekola as terrorist, and that could not enter any Western world for good 8 years. That president spent. He spent from 1999 to 2007. You know him. If you don't know Ebola, you don't know anything. Now, causes and effects. I think this one is in Arabic, but let me quickly say. The one is that there are, let me say the part of it. That if this one is said by Al-Ibn Umar, this is one of Islamic, philosophers. Now, he now said that there are 5 things that will happen to, a particular nation. The first thing is, if those people are not just, then God will now put threat in their mind, because they are stealing our money. Their children will be kidnapped, and it will also reflect some of us that we are civilians. I thank God I don't have everything. If I'm going to you, nobody will kidnap me. Because another one is, if zina, adultery and fornication is rampant in the environment, then people will continue to die. Some of us will take tramadol before Abi. Some will take marijuana because of what, and that is why people die, because they don't eat natural things again. Wala naksu qawm mikyal wal mizan illa qata animu rizq. There is no way where this mikyal is mizan. Mizan is this measure what they do in Bodija, that they want to put rice or whatever. So if they do not measure things very well, that means that their sustainability will be reduced. Wala akamu qawm bigari aki. If there is no truthful judiciary system in the place, fashafi there will be bloodshed. And finally, wala qatalu qawm bil had. If people are not fulfilling their promise, like the politicians are not fulfilling, and my position, illa salata alayhi, then they will create enmity among themselves. So this is the prayer. He just pray for this particular organization. Should I really do it and run it? He said that, oh God, what we are doing cannot, our sin cannot affect you, oh God. And what we are doing as a form of worship cannot increase your honor. Please, oh God, wake up us from our ignorance and let us be prospered with whatever good deed that we engage. Protect us from the evil of our hands, and do not punish us with what ignorance among us did. Oh Lord, you are the one that be with Jonah, Yunus, in the belly of fish in the ocean. Be with us. You are the one that also protects Abraham in the flame of fire. And also be with the Holy Prophet Muhammad when he was also in the cave of God, when the enemy are running after him. Please be with us in this place. Be with us in our society, in this society, Ibadan. Be with us in your state. Be with us in Nigeria, and be with those people who are, engaging in peace. Birahmatika ya Arhamar Rahim. With your mercy, we pray to you, O Lord. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for Dr. Adams Olufemi Adeola. Thank you so much, sir, for that session. I have to use my discretion to allow you to continue. And I had my reasons. We had the other two major regions yesterday. There was no time. Of course, because Prof did not come. I did not send anybody anyway. Okay, so we have 10 minutes. We'll take questions and you respond within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes. And the only feasible way by which this can be done is that you write it. Yes. That's the only possible way that we can achieve that.
The question is once we can agree on a religion and the teachings of each religion different, then how can we be brother? Of course the teaching will be different. There's no way that religion will not be different. But you look at the goal of each religion. Now, for instance, I've never seen anybody fighting against me if I'm speaking Arabic and speaking a language. I won't fight with anybody speaking Yoruba. I'm a graduate of Arabic. I have a friend who is a graduate of French language. Another friend who is a graduate of Yoruba language. So it means that we are all students or graduates of languages. So what I have in my language, I have syntax, I have morphology, I have linguistics. So in English language they will have the same, in Yoruba language they will have the same, they will have pronoun, they will have whatever. But if now say that a particular religion is preaching something that is not holy, let's kill those people. It is not religion. But because religion is has to be followed to get to Almighty God, so that we follow His way. So we can have different ideology, even within a particular religion. The scholars are not the same. That is why you have sects. That is why you have denomination. That is why we have denomination, we have sects, that's why I said Toriko. For example now, in those days, some of us that at least we watch movies, we watch television. When Oba, the king, is having what our Baba call Ajodu festival, you now see the Sango worshippers. They will come with what? With fire. You see the Obatala people with white garment like my brothers. You see the Babalawo, they will come. Every one of them will now dance in front of Oba. They will dine and wine together and they will go back. Because they have what? They have one goal. So if religion is to refurbish, if religion is to refine the immoralities, it means that we cannot fight. But if it has turned to be what Yoruba call Oromowu, there will be fight, even within the same religion. Let me tell you something. My father will tell us that if you have Arabic schools, at the end of the day, that Arabic school is not functioning. Don't go to Ajay, don't go to Babalawo, don't go to anybody. It is Afa that demolishes spiritually. If you see a church here, another church here, and this one is not moving, another one is moving, and this one either collapse, whether one way or the other, go and investigate this pastor. So if you have a particular religion, there will be difference. And that is why you look at it from must Taiwan kindly the enemy of each other. They are all from the same father and the same mother, and they have their different thoughts. They may not even have the same complexion.
Thank you, Doctor. There are some questions that correlate with what you're already discussing, and so I just want to lump them together. This person says, can a Muslim accept advice on spirituality from other religions?
Okay, thank you. Can a Muslim accept, advice of spirituality or other religion? First and foremost is that what do you value? If you value your religion and you don't have someone that is spiritual, someone will not say, okay, ego, a máa gbé ẹbọ, you know what kágbé ẹbọ, a máa gbé ẹbọ fún ẹ, táyà máa fi gbé ẹbọ fún ẹ. Then in Islam, do you have the same thing? Then of course you can do what they call sadaqah, by inviting people to come and eat. If your religion allows that, okay, you can slaughter them, and you distribute it among people. And that is what they call qurban. Are you with me? Then you cannot prosper if you don't give your tithes, very well in the church. You cannot take, food to motherless babyhood, give it to them. The only thing they just see in the spiritual realm for you is that you are too more greedy. Because you need to at least give out, so and that's why they said, whether you like it or not, you must. Because those, spirits in those days that they eat maimai and ibu, they don't take it now. They eat indomie, yam. How are you? Of course, because Baba, President the Minister of African Studies was told that okay, Babalawo takes away your money in those days, but they take dollars now. So why you now say that okay, Choromila or the mother will not hit indomie or spaghetti? So you now you see what there is what we call Christianized or Islamized situation. Are you with me? But you don't. If let me tell you something, there is difference between intellectualism and spirituality. Spirituality is a gift, and it could be given to anybody. It's not necessarily that okay, because I'm a Muslim, I have to be spiritual. You may not be spiritually inclined. You may be as rich as Dangote. It's a gift. Then, if a medical practitioner is taking care of you, you won't say, "Are you a Muslim? Are you a Christian? Don't give me a bell or don't give me an injection because you are not a Muslim. You are deceiving yourself. You die of what?"
So it's a function of what the person.
It is a function because we are more dead than ourselves.
All right. Let's take this question, Doctor. The person is asking, how can we war against terrorism? I'll lump it with this other one. That how can you fight or defend your religion without being violent?
Okay. I don't see any religion that is not presentable and defendable. But the only thing is that if you want to present your religion, that's why I said comparison. You don't do comparison in religion. If you are doing comparison, it means that okay, you want to create problem. Because I will be quoting what Islam says that whether like or not you must do this. And you now be saying okay, for God so loved the world, that He has only sent His only begotten Son. They will now start criticizing you that did Jesus say it or according to Matthew or John or according. You understand what I'm saying? But the only thing is that when we are dialoguing, dialogue means that I must release and I must take. I will shift the ground. Okay, I'm a Muslim in the room and he's also a Christian. They will, okay, fine. I will create a space where I will be doing, my tahajjud without disturbing him. Then when he's also, praying, he should not, because I'm sleeping around 12 midnight. And he's also, praying. I say, now shouting, no, he's disturbing me. Then I want to pray too. And I say, no. Someone is. So I realized, okay, I have to take it. So there should be what? Religious dialogue. But when you are comparing religion, it can also be, violent. Because it depends on, because the person that is doing the dialogue or comparison may not have undergone, that aspect. Because there is a particular course for dialogue design. If you don't know how to dialogue, you will go there to fight. And when you are dialoguing, a neutral person must also be there. But if you want to compare religion now, you can say, I'm a Muslim. And now, where I normally go to is Quran, which says that the prophets, the angels believe in their God. Use plural. The prophets, the angels, we do not make distinction among them.
All right, let's do this, Doctor. Still talking about dialogue and violent extremism. There's this common balance that people fight for God.
Okay.
We have beautiful women waiting for them in Aljana. Just one line. What's your opinion?
You see, you can't fight for God. You can't fight for God. God will fight for himself. God will fight for himself. You can't fight for God. Because if you slap me because I'm a Muslim, it is me that you slap. I will slap you back or I leave you. So you can't fight for God. If God wants to fight for himself, we know that God has, fought for himself in the Bible and the Quran. Look at, nations that he has destroyed with thunders, with ants, just ordinary ants. The people of Namrud, they were destroyed. So God can fight for himself. If he just say, "Kun be," and it will be. So
you can't fight.
You can't fight.
God. You said in your lecture that
you can only defend yourself.
You said we should separate Muslim from Islam.
Yes. Somebody
suggesting instead of separating them, can we just educate them?
And what I'm saying is that you should not. What I'm saying is when you see a Muslim that he calls himself a Muslim, don't think that you can see Islam in him. I'm not saying that you should not educate. Even if you look at the conclusion of the study, you said that they should, acquire knowledge. See me like this: a Muslim will not say I'm not a good Muslim because of my thoughts, because the way I look like. But when you close to me, that someone says that I've never eaten since morning, and I say let's go to cafe, and we eat. Then it is there they ask me, because this guy doesn't put on turban doesn't mean that he's not a Muslim. But because we hear my name, you say, can Adams be a Muslim? You understand? So those are the issues. So you look at what Islam is. I don't say because you are a Christian. It is Christianity. John is a John because I will deal with you as a human being.
All right.
So don't use.
Can we take this finally? Is it compulsory to learn the language of a particular religion?
Is it
compulsory to learn the language of a particular religion?
That is where I even come. Just has escaped my mind. My religion, whether I like it or not, is what I value. I must learn the language of my religion. Yes. I'm speaking English because this is the colonized language. It's not my religion because, for example, in Yoruba, in Islam, if you want to pray, because of that universality, you want to hear the same Fatiha that they are reciting in Saudi, it's the same that they recite in Samonda, it's the same that they recite in, so it is uniformity. And it is that particular language that that religion is available. So if someone travel to Cuba or Brazil and said he wants to learn about Ifa, the person must learn Yoruba language. Because that prophet that we call Orumila, that his own science is Ifa, speaks Yoruba. So I will not know how can someone say when I want Yami, but want to what's it called? So you now say when my mothers, who are those mothers are coming? No, I don't. So whether you like it or not, the language of your religion is very essential because that is the root. So how can you say you are a Muslim and don't understand the language that you want to use to pray? You must know it, you must know the meaning. So that because I'm in language, there is one called, source language and target language. During the course of translation, there are some things that were, and even the person that is translating may not even understand, the source language, So when I say quote in Arabic, it's not the way they say it in English. But Yoruba, translation is closer to it than English one. So
a round of applause for Dr. Adams. I'm sorry, we do not have much of time. We would have wanted him to continue. Please, one more time. Let's appreciate him one more time. Time is not our friend. There are contributions I've seen here. Some of those contributions are even meant for the organizers. Things they need to put in the final report, which I can assure you will go into the final report. And there are some that you might even need to meet him personally to ask. So I do not in any way look down on your contributions. Thank you very much. We'll go straight to the next session. This would have held yesterday, but we need it to hold right now because our resource person is right here with us. We'll be talking about realities in communities fighting religious war. And to do justice to this will be Dr. Joseph T. Atang. A round of applause for him as he comes for his session. Dr. Joseph Atang is Nigeria's country expert for KICIID Dialogue Center. He's currently the Nigerian, of course, and an international intergovernmental organization for interreligious and intercultural dialogue established by Saudi Arabia, Spain, Austria, and the Vatican, with headquarters in Vienna, Austria. He also doubles as technical advisor to the Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace, IDFP, in Nigeria, an interfaith dialogue platform for Nigerian Christians and Muslims established by the KICIID in 2017. He was a member of the Cardinal State Peace and Reconciliation Committee. Doctor, your best. Okay. And a member of the Cardinal State Committee to stem the incessant killings in southern Kaduna in 2015. Mr. Atang is a recipient of the Donald Paulson Award of the Department of Conflict Resolutions, Human Security and Global Governance at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, USA. He's a certified mediator of the District Court of the State of Massachusetts, USA. He was the Secretary, Dispute Resolution Graduate Students Council, University of Massachusetts in Boston from 2007 to 2008 May. He's equally a member of Discussion Group on Conflict in Africa Program on Negotiation, PON, Harvard University, Boston, USA, September 2007 to date. Let me quickly say this. The first time I heard his name was when I went on a training with the United States Institute for Peace. He was one of the few Nigerians that they quoted as people who have been working on interfaith and interreligious and crisis and maintaining peace in Nigeria. A round of applause for Dr. T. Atang as he takes us on a session in good time. Thank you very much.
Well, let me first of all apologize for not being here yesterday, logistic reasons. Let me not go into details. At least it's good to say sorry, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Then, of course, I know I missed something that Dr. I don't remember the name, spoke about. They spoke about Southern Kaduna, and as you heard, I come from Kaduna. I really would have loved to hear another perspective from Southern Kaduna. Yeah, that's all right. Well, so that is it. I have to really rush it. Actually, the topic of my lecture has changed, but it's almost the same because we talk about realities. As it's written in the program is talking about realities of religious societies and religious conflict, which is almost here. I'm talking about here. I'm looking at the challenges. In any case, Nigeria, we have crisis in Nigeria. We have religious conflicts. And then we have conflicts that are fought on the pedestal of religion. So it's almost the same thing. So, first of all, let's answer our question. Is there a religious conflict? We've been hearing people talking about what we hear almost every day is, look, religion is not the problem. It's not the old problem. There are no religious conflicts here, purely religious conflicts in Nigeria. What is happening is that politicians come in, traditional rulers come in and set us fighting each other. So there are economic reasons, there are political reasons, there are social reasons for us to fight ourselves. And then while we're fighting ourselves, we do that on the basis of religion. So we do interfaith. I live interfaith, I breathe interfaith, I eat interfaith, because the truth is what you are doing here is interfaith. All the papers presented here can only be supported by interfaith. Then preach as much as we can, preach as long as you can. If you don't bring adherents of the two religions, or the many religions that you three in Nigeria, of all the religions you have in the country, to talk to each other, to try to understand each other, and appreciate their differences, honestly, you've not gone anywhere. All the recommendations in the papers presented here and the suggestions presented here will only be wishful thinking without interfaith. So it is really very, very good that we are doing this one. First of all, talking about interfaith, I made some observations here. The first one is, which is very, very pleasing to me as an interfaith person. The first one is that I have seen that there are adherents of the African traditional religion, which is really very good. And it's a lesson for me, because our interfaith in this country has been mostly Muslim and Christian. So it is good that you are all here. Another thing actually is, I noticed the seating arrangement, and I saw that it is not interfaith. Thank God the moderator noticed that and solved it before I come out here to make the observation. So in interfaith activities like this, you mix up. You seek to know the next person, because interfaith is also in the proximity of participants. Right? And then, of course, when it comes to prayer, the Nigerian prayer is really very good. Very good. So it's okay, it's very apt, but there is what we call interfaith prayer. We don't waste time in doing Christian and Muslim and African traditional religious prayer before we start. We do interfaith. And interfaith is everybody pray in your own religion. Give some time, pray in your own religion, and then we set the ball rolling. So that is it. And then when we are doing interfaith, we have to be very careful about our language, the language we use. The language you use must not be rooted in one of the religions. I have some examples here which I don't want to give, but just note that. Anyway, so let's get into it. Are there religious conflicts in Nigeria? First of all, interfaith dialogue is not about resolving religious conflicts only. That is just the truth. That's not interfaith dialogue. It's not about resolving religious conflicts only. Interfaith dialogue is about using religion and religious leaders to resolve all types of conflicts. So it's not just religious conflict. So, however, can we say there are religious conflicts in Nigeria? Of course, there are religious conflicts. Don't mind what some people say, the popular thing, that there's no religious. Of course, there are conflicts that are basically religious in nature in this country. So it's good we answer that question. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay. Okay. So why religion or religious leaders? But first of all, let's take a look at the sources of conflict. You have resources. Resources create conflict, isn't it? And some people will tell you that, don't worry, no religious conflicts, it's just resources. People are just fighting over land or money or property or position, whatever. There are psychological needs that people are looking for: respect, dignity, humanity, a sense of belonging. You don't give it to them. And the values are religions, right? So you see, values, religion is a source of conflict. So definitely there are religious conflict. Then the fourth one is information. If you misinform people, if you disinform people, and if you deny information, you get conflict. However, now why religious leaders? Because, we keep hearing that Nigeria is a very, very religious country, right? We are very religious. And I think I agree with that. Some people go further to say, well, make a difference between being religious and being godly. Right? Nigerians are religious, but they are not godly. Most of them are not godly. It's an argument anyway. So, however, the reason why we use religious leaders is, religious leaders, are very, very influential people. Very influential. Everybody, the politician, the doctor, the architect, the engineer, they are all members of your mosque or your church or your, it's shrine, good. It's shrine, right? They're all members. So you are very, very influential. And that's why we believe, in this country you have individuals who have followers in their millions. Millions. There are churches that have members in millions, many churches. There are religious leaders, religious leaders. On the Islamic side, they have followers in their millions. So, it's very important. So you see how central you are in bringing about peace. All right, so next slide. So that dialogue. Let's go dialogue first. You go to the next one. So what is dialogue? Dialogue is communication style that allows people to understand each other's viewpoints, choices, beliefs, and convictions so that they can coexist. It's just to understand and appreciate your differences. It's not to remove those differences, no. Just to understand them and to live with them. You cannot remove those differences. For example, Christianity believes in Jesus being the Son of God, right? Islam, for example, does not believe in it. So what do you want to do? You want to make a Muslim to believe that? What is central in the religion? So it is just to understand and live with it and appreciate that, okay, this is a difference that I have to live with my Muslim brother. And vice versa, Muslim too will have to live with the Christian brother or sister in his own belief. So that's what dialogue is all about. But interfaith dialogue is actually cooperative, constructive and positive interactions between people of different religious traditions, different faiths. That is it, that's the difference. This one faith, the other one general. Next slide. Interfaith dialogue seeks to increase mutual understanding and good relations, identify causes of tension between and amongst people, which are, and I can say that, mostly political, economic, and social, build understanding and confidence to overcome or prevent tensions, break down the barriers of stereotypes. Interfaith dialogue is not about talking away or brushing aside differences. I've said that before. It's not to talk away the differences, it's not to brush aside differences. It's not to kill differences, it's not to remove differences. It is not a way of converting the other, no. In doing interfaith, you do not seek to convert the other. If in the process of dialogue, the person appreciates, understands, and appreciates your own faith, and the person decides one day, somehow, to convert, no problem. But it is not your intention to convert anybody during interfaith. Interfaith dialogue is not a space for arguing or attacking or disproving. Next slide. Next one. Now, let's take a look at the interfaith landscape in Nigeria. There are so many individuals and organizations that are doing interfaith today. TAMEP is doing interfaith, for example, although it is not here. But you see, at the national and state governments are doing it. National and state governments are doing interfaith. Some presidents in this country, we've seen some presidents and some governors having special advisors on religion. We have the Advisory Council for Religious Affairs, for example, and then we have NIRE, which is government. At the state level, we have Christian Religious Bureau and Islamic Religious Bureau. And in universities, we have institutes for peace and conflict resolution. Universities and schools have open centers for peace and conflict resolution. And some of them are doing interfaith too. They have the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution in University in UI here. Then they have regional, organizations like Abiyawa Consultative Forum, Afenifere or Hanese. They all do interfaith. Once in a while, you see Afenifere or Hanese or ACF bringing Christians and Muslims together to do interfaith. So we have many of them like that. Then we have other institutions like the Dawa Center. They're there anyway, so I don't need to go through all of them. This is the landscape, interfaith landscape in Nigeria. Next slide. Okay. However, so as important as interfaith is in Nigeria, we still have challenges doing it. Tame, I'm sure you will have experiences doing interfaith dialogue. Many of you here as individuals and as institutions, like churches and organizations, you have been doing interfaith. I believe you've been experiencing some challenges. So what are these challenges? And this is the center. This is the crux of the matter. This is my lecture. So you have socioeconomic injustice. We have a lot of structural injustice in Nigeria. Structural violence in Nigeria. People life is so difficult. The socio-economic conditions have been so difficult. Not that it is difficult. It has been so difficult because it has been like that for many years. So I'm not specific about any government. It has been like that for many years. So the socio-economic conditions are really very bad. So it is a survival of the fittest. And in a situation where you have this principle of survival of the fittest, it's very, very difficult for people to sit down and think properly and actually give up certain things, including their rights to have peace. Because they say, like we say in Pidgin, man must work. Man must get a job. You want to get a job, jobs are difficult to get, you want to get it. And of course, what you do is you go to the Christian minister. You follow the Christian ministers. If you are a Christian, if you are a Muslim, you follow the Muslim ministers or commissioners or governor or whatever to get this. So in a situation like that, honestly, interfaith is really very difficult. Very difficult. Politicization of religion. There's a lot of politics we've said here. Politics has come into religion. Keep people together to do interfaith. They are guided from outside. Either during the dialogue session or after the dialogue. During the dialogue, of course, you have people concentrating and paying attention and enjoying it and making friends and all that. But they leave that place and they go back to this same society. They go back to this same society where there is socioeconomic injustice. This same society where there is politics and they must make a choice between one person or the other, or one political party or the other. Then we have ethnic and linguistic diversity. You can remember the number of languages we have in this country. You can imagine the number of ethnic groups we have in this country. Some are languages, ethnicities are 527. In the 80s it was 250, now it has gone to about 527. And so in a country like this that is so complex like this, and with these other challenges, of course that you know that people will fall back on this one too. Next slide. So that's a big challenge. Low IRD knowledge, interreligious dialogue, that's what IRD means. It is very low in this country. There are so many individuals and so many organizations, civil society organizations that are doing interreligious dialogue. Remember that interreligious dialogue is different from conflict resolution or mediation, right? So you have so many organizations that are doing it, but IRD is a special area of conflict resolution, a special area of study and practice, and you have to know it. If you don't have the skills, you can't do it. So we've done a study in this country, and we have found out that not many people are skilled in IRD. Now that's a big challenge that we have. And that's why CAICID is coming to train people. I will come to that. Government use of force. Now somebody talked about this use of force. Yeah, of course, the doctor. Government chooses mostly to use the carrot where there are religious problems, where there is conflict. We bring people, communities in conflict, and that conflict is either religious or executed on religious platform. But then again, talking to them, getting some space, and then government comes and beats people, and jails people, and kills people. So that is a very big challenge. And then your work has been destroyed, or you have to go back again to the starting blocks. Dialogue fatigue. That's a big challenge in this country. We like to do that. Like I said, many organizations doing peace building and doing dialogue. But there seems to be a dialogue fatigue in this country. Nigerians are tired of talking to each other. You go to a community and they tell you, oh, welcome. This organization came last month and we sat down like this and discussed. Government set up a committee, they came and we talked and made resolutions and did declarations and so on and so forth, but nothing has happened. So you see that almost everywhere, there are some communities, conflict-prone communities, that dialogue is done almost on a monthly basis. And the same people are attending these dialogue sessions. So they tell you we are tired of it. So that is the next slide. Representative national Muslim and Christian bodies. You know, it's a good thing that we have these umbrella organizations for Christians and Muslims. I don't know we have it for African traditional religions. We have the Christian Association of Nigeria and we have the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. Now, these organizations are very, very good. They are very good for interfaith. So it can bring peace between the religions, amongst religions in this country. However, they are also bedeviled by crises. I believe as Christians and Muslims here, I don't want to go into it. You know what Khan is going through today. You know what NSCIA is going through, the challenges that NSCIA is going through, and even GANI. So I don't have to go through, I just recall those challenges. And I'm telling you that because they have those challenges, we are finding it difficult to use them for interfaith dialogue. We have set up a platform where I will talk about the IDF, where we've tried to blend, to bring representatives from all angles. I'll take one example. We brought in representatives of the Shia on the Muslim side. It's a little bit uncomfortable because it says the body language of the other Muslims. The body language of the other Muslims is not comfortable for him. So he found it very difficult at the beginning to participate in our activities. But now he's coming back. He's gaining confidence and he's coming back. So that is a big problem we have. Okay, that one. Yeah, the hate speech legislation. We need a legislation on hate speech. You know how people talk about religion, how we abuse each other, how we abuse each other's religion in this country. It's a big problem. You are doing interfaith, and in the name of God, you go to social media, you go to Facebook, and boom, you see somebody just dropping something of very, very offensive there about their religion. Many examples. And it sets up your job. You know, just kills your job. So it's a very big problem. So we need a regulation on hate and dangerous speeches in this country. There's a regulation that is coming up. IDFB is working on one. That's the organization we have established. But we will see how it goes. What stopped it was that, what has delayed it a little bit was that somebody, a senator, came up with his own version of hate speech bill and recommended death penalty for offenders of hate speech, which is actually too extreme. Now, regulatory framework for religious transparent. There is no coherent policy on violent extremism. We have the bill that the doctor talked about on terror, which we're still struggling with. We need something like that to be put in place to help us as interfaith dialogue practitioners to succeed. Next slide. Now, structural and operational inefficiencies of government IRB agencies. Of course, we have government IRB agencies. Kaduna State, for example, has a Bureau for Religious Affairs. The former governor used to have a special advisor on Islam, a special advisor on Christian religion. So, but you see, these bureaus, and some governments even have peace commissions. But these peace commissions have big challenges. They are underfunded, they are subjected to the bureaucracy of the state, because you're answerable either to the secretary, to the government, or to a commissioner, and whatever you want, you can't work. And conflict resolution, dialogue is like firefighting. It's firefighting. You need resources now. You need to move now or else. But then, of course, you have to do a letter to the governor. He approves it to the commissioner or to the SSG. Before the money gets released for you to go there, people are already dead. In fact, the smoke has already come down. You go after the fact. So that's a problem there. IRB educational institutions are very few. Very few. Although we have institutes for peace and conflict resolution, Center for Peace and Strategic Studies, in place like in Ilorin, but they are very, very few. And poorly funded too. And they depend even on experts from other departments. If you go, for example, to some of these centers, for peace and strategic studies or peace and conflict studies, you will see that they do not have scholars, academics, and practitioners in their own right. What they do is get specialists, get experts or intellectuals from other departments, law, sociology, political science, religion, like that. Now that's a problem. It's a big challenge for IRD in our country. Now, convergence of IRD activities. IRD, like I said, there are so many organizations that are doing interfaith dialogue. However, you see, everyone is doing his own thing. They are working independently. And you cannot achieve much if you are working independently. So what they need to do, so you find, for example, if there's, let's say this is a community, right? And there is a conflict there. NGO A comes here to do some work this week. Next week, another NGO B comes. The next following week, NGO C comes. So they keep coming and going and coming and going. There's no coordination. There's no convergence. And so in that process, you will find out that some of them contradict each other. Some of them, even cancel out each other. And then, of course, it leads to the dialogue fatigue that we have seen. Every week, the same committee comes to talk about the same issues, make the same recommendations. So there is that fatigue because of no lack of convergence. Next slide. Now, let's do something. Can we please get up a bit? Can we stand up just for a second? Good. Now, the psychology of listening. Attention span is really, it differs from individual to individual. When you're talking and people are quiet, it's either they're enjoying it or they are taking it in, or they are tired, they want to rest, or they are sleepy or sleeping, whatever it is. Let's do something. Please, let's do a small exercise. Sorry, moderator. This is a lecture, but let me just, I'll rush it. Yeah. Okay, let's, very briefly. Please, just do what I say and know what I say. But before you do what I say, you must know what I say. If I say ba, this is ba, this is baku, and this is baku baku. This is ba, this is baku, this is baku baku. We're religious leaders here, right? So this is an exercise in sincerity. If you're a religious leader and you want to solve problems, you must be sincere. If you want to do dialogue with the other person, you must be sincere. So, if you miss it, just sit down. So this is ba, this is baku, this is baku baku. So do what I say. Ba, baku, 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 baku. Don't be sincere and see if you miss it. Don't worry. Okay. So baku. No. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. If what I do is the same as what I say. Ba. Baku baku. Baku baku. So, another challenge is lack of focus. For example, to discuss complex theological issues, personal values and experiences, religious. There must be a difference. If you're doing IRD, you must be focused on what exactly you want. What do you want to do? Do you want to discuss complex theological issues? Do you want to discuss discuss personal values and experiences, or religious intellectual matters? So you can't bring people together to do intervene on everything. You have to be focused on what exactly you want to achieve. Feeling of the need of water down. The one challenge we feel we have in this country is when we are doing IRD and we invite people into the religious dialogue, they have this feeling that they are coming to be made to relinquish their beliefs or to water down their beliefs. And when they even come, when you're convinced and they come, they don't want to hurt anybody. And because they don't want to hurt anybody, they compromise, which is not good. Right? Okay? So that is the challenge that we have. People coming in with the feeling that they have to compromise. Please do not compromise. Just very nicely tell the other what religion is all about, what the faith is all about, so that he or she understands, and he or she is expected to appreciate the differences between your own religion and his own religion. And then some people come, actually, we have to proselytize. Some people make the mistake of coming to dialogue with the objective to preach to people, to convert people. We have them. We have this experience. Some people come and they preach. And this organization, we have a platform, a WhatsApp platform, and you see people dropping some evangelizing materials on the platform. Even this morning, I had to solve a problem between somebody who's a Reverend Father who dropped in a material and a Muslim who is a professor of Islamic studies, University of Sokoto, complained about it. This is evangelizing. This is supposed to be on this platform. So there was discussion, and then at the end of the day, we agreed that it should be removed, and it was removed. So we face this problem all the time. People coming and wanting to promote their religion, to evangelize, to proselytize. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is another, continue. We have insincerity. A lot of people come insincere. They just come and whatever it is, you say, okay, yes, they agree, they make, they agree with the recommendations, and they're actually not very sincere in their, in the way they feel. And that one leads to conflict avoidance, because they are not sincere, so the conflict is avoided, and you don't avoid it. And because it is avoided, most interfaith dialogue sessions come up with manufactured consensus. Manufactured in the sense that people are afraid to be different. People are afraid to accept, I don't want to accept the beliefs and the faith of others. Next slide. Now, this one very, very briefly, because that's the crux of the matter. What we've just have here to talk about, the challenges of interfaith dialogue, which I thought everyone here must know. So that when you're getting into interfaith dialogue, some of it is either you know, or either all of them or some of them, so you know. So that's the crux of this lecture. But then I want to give you a case study. Go next slide. There's an organization called the Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace. Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace, you need to hear this because you may want to belong. Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace is an NGO which KAISEED has established. I represent KAISEED in Nigeria. It's an NGO which KAISEED has established in Nigeria and registered as an NGO in Nigeria. And it comprises 100 religious leaders, high-level religious leaders, 50 Christians and 50 Muslims. That's why I say I'm happy that they have found our brothers from the African traditional religions here. So that keeps me thinking maybe you should do something about it. But I'll discuss with the Ogas here. Anyway, so KAISEED set up this through dialogue because we looked at Nigeria, we looked at the terrain and we saw that, okay, is there any platform for Christians, national platform for Christians and Muslims in Nigeria, or religious people in Nigeria to actually meet and do conflict resolution and talk about their problems, solve conflicts. Then we saw that there was NAREG. But when we were coming in 2017, NAREG was in crisis. In fact, NAREG was not sitting at all. They had not sat for about 5 years. They've done some sitting, 2 sittings this year. So we thought we should come up with a platform like that that would take care of the interests of Nigeria. with representatives of all these religions across board. So what we did, the 50 Christians came from a cross-section of the 5 blocks in Cannes. You know, Cannes has 5 blocks: the Roman Catholic, the PFN, CPFN, the Tekan Hekan, CCM, and 5 of them, the African traditional religions. They have their own, no, not African traditional, the other white garment churches. Sorry, that is, please, sorry, for the lack of, let me use that one, white garment churches. So those are the 5 blocks. So we made sure that we got the 50 Christians representing, the 50 people representing Christians. In IDFP, we made sure we got representatives from each of these 5 blocks. And you know, in each of the 5 blocks, there are denominations, even with the CCA, even with the PFN. So we made sure we got representatives from that. And the same thing we did with the Muslims. The 50 of them, first of all, the big divide, Shia and Sunni, right? So we got representatives, and then we broke down the Sunni into their various groups and got representatives. So that's how we set up IDFP, which is very unique in this country. And so they have, and the patrons are the 2 religious leaders, the 2 supreme religious leaders in this country, the Sultan of Sokoto and the President of Cannes. They are the patrons of this organization. They have a board of trustees that comprises General Yakubu Gawan, the Shehu of Borno, and people of that category. And then they have a central coordination council that has 40 people, 40 of those members. 20 of them are Christians, 20 of them are Muslims. Then we have the executive committee, which does the day-to-day running, administration, the project implementation of the organization. So that's IDFP, and it was set up by KAISI. KAISI was established, registered in 2012. And it was the idea of the Saudi king, which got the buy-in, and he got the buy-in of the Pope. And so that's how KAISI came. Next slide. Next slide. That's all about KAISI. This is the mandate of KAISI. Interfaith dialogue. Next slide. Next slide. Now this is how IDFP was established. We did consultative meetings, then we went to selection of members, the intra-faith meetings and interfaith meetings to come up with issues, intra and inter issues that will be tackled by the organization. Next slide. This is the organogram and the procedure, how it was settled. Next slide. This is one of the meetings. These are the activities that we did. Identification of 50 Christians and 50 Muslims. Say that one. This is one of the meetings. You can see the leaders here, the current president, Sultan, and others. Next slide. These are foundational activities. They have a constitution, they have bylaws, they have the register of the Corporate Affairs Commission, they have financial guidance, they have an action plan for 2019, and even in fact 2019 now there's an action plan. Next slide. These are the initiatives that IDFP has done. Some of them are concluded. There's no need to go through them. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, go. Next slide. These are all active initiatives. So many of them that have been done and are being done in today. Go ahead. Next slide. Next. Good. So recommendations. What am I recommending in view of all these challenges? Interfaith dialogue must transcend conflict resolution to good governance. Without good governance, you cannot have successful interfaith dialogue. You have a bad government, you will have bad religious followers, bad religious leader and bad religious followers. You have bad politics, you have bad religious leader and religious followers. That is just the truth. Without good governance, don't give people what they need, no social justice, economic justice, you can't get people to think properly. You can't get people to commit to their religion to do interfaith. Respect for the democratic principle of representation In a heterogeneous society like Nigeria, where you have all this complexity, languages, ethnicity, whatever, you must have, even if it's a democracy, even if it is not a democracy, you must find a way of representing, finding people to participate in government. And the only way to participate in government is by representation. If people don't see their representatives in a government, in the leadership of anything, they are not interested. They are not interested. Don't talk to me about interfaith. Why are you talking to me about interfaith? Especially if you are government. If Tamil, for example, is doing some things here, and they work with only Christians, Muslims, of course, will be like, please, leave me alone. They may even withdraw. And if it is the other side, they work only with Muslims, Christians will be like, Tamil, sorry, we don't belong here. So there must be representation. I appreciate the impact of the international environment. International environment has influence on what we're doing here. Remember the cartoon thing happens somewhere else? What journalism they call Afghanistanism? Joint action against corruption, mismanagement, there must be joint action of interreligious and of religious leaders to fight it. We have a program that is going on now, done by the Muslim Society, Muslim Student Society of Nigeria, that is interfaith for you, which has to do with the fight against corruption and insecurity. Yeah, then we have to check the growing international network of fanatical religious individuals and groups. There are people in this country, the gentleman here, doctor, talked about the different types that we have, right? Talked about Boko Haram, we talked about the Kalika, he said, they're all here. These people, you don't take them for granted. They get international connection. So that has to be checked. If that is not checked, forget interfaith dialogue. Next slide. This is the last one. Cooperation between Christians and Muslims in the task of building a just, peaceful, and democratic Nigerian society. Greater networking among Arabic civil society. This convergence that I talked about. Encourage many more join the Christian, Muslim, and of course African traditional religious, social welfare and community development programs. Ensure uniform standards for human rights across all religions, not human rights for Muslims, different human rights for Christians, human rights for Christians different from Muslims. Ensure justice for all, irrespective of differences. Next slide. Appreciation of futility of violence. Violence is futile. It gives you nothing. Have you noticed that even if you go into war, people who are where there is war, while war is going on, they are negotiating. While it's going on. And after the war, after the destruction, they still come back to the negotiation table. That tells you the futility of violence. There's no point. Christians are not staying faithful to the injunctions of God. If we stick to our religion, good and fine. And there are examples there. Next slide. And I end up with this prayer. This is a very, very good prayer. And I want you please to pray this prayer. That will help us. Of course, the Catholics are very familiar with it. So, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me show love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Next slide. Thank you.
Round of applause for Dr. Atan. Thank you very much, sir. I have an advocacy, and that is that in IDF, you begin plans to involve the ancestral worshippers. I think it's 100 now, Abi. 100. Yeah. Make it 150. Because it's 50-50 for Christian and Muslims. There's a need for a 50.
That's not very, very
Thank you very much. I'm sure that question is in their mind, so I've helped them ask it. So we can move on. This is an event organized by Taking All Men Brother, PAMEB, and it's a 2-day interfaith peace conference on freedom of religion, a panacea for peace in Nigeria. That was a very academic discussion. I think we should give Dr. Atang one more round of applause. And it will not be out of place to appreciate the Institute of Christian and Society that hosted us for this two-day event. Can we give them a round of applause too for their facility? All right. While we're at that, I suggest you join Tameb on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram. Tweet about your experiences here. Okay? At Tameb, that's just... Please, let's join. Taking All Men Brother on Twitter, Taking All Men Brother on Instagram, at Tameb_ORG on Twitter. Facebook, Taking All Men Brother. I like the page on Facebook. On Instagram, Taking All Men Brother. On Twitter, it is TAMEB_ORG. 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 That's the Twitter handle. Tameb_ORG. So please share your experiences, take good pictures, send it. And if you are using my picture, I'm a model, so you know you have to pay. Okay, so please let's let that move very fast. While I expect, we'll be going to focus groups any moment from now.
the very idea of freedom of religion presupposes a disunity. And that's a disunity or a division of religious groups. So we said, what's the basis of this disharmony in religious groups? And we said it is anchored on principles of self-interest and prejudice, which is very natural to every human being. And a contributor in the group also mentioned the point of Thomas Hobbes, a philosopher, who said that man is brutish, wicked, and egoistic. So as a result of this egoism in man, naturally he desires what his self-interest will want. At first instance, man does not pursue what the other man will want. He pursues what he himself will want. So it will take somebody like Ginger Prizo, another philosopher, who will come up with the idea of the common will. The man has a personal will, Ginger Christo will talk of the common will, that is the common goal. And this is what religion and family seeks to address. And that is a way of bringing about peace and progress in the society. The fourth question, how does family orientation affect freedom of religion? We said if the family is authoritarian, it will affect the child. The same way if it is liberal or laissez-faire. Now, we gave that being authoritarian and liberal, they are quite manageable. But being laissez-faire affects the child in a negative way, because if the child has a laissez-faire orientation of relating with other persons and even religion, he can be swept away with any child. If he has a liberal orientation, he's able to accommodate other religions. And this is where we even have the ecumenism. For somebody who has an authoritarian ideology of religion, he cannot be open to ecumenism. That is, having to accommodate other religions. But if he has a liberal orientation towards religion, he will be able to accommodate other religions. I think that is why all of us we are here today. But for laissez-faire, it is dangerous because a child who has a laissez-faire orientation towards religion can easily be swept away by bad influences. And that takes us to the fifth question. What is the place of peer group influence in freedom of religion? Evil communications corrupts good manners. So a child who does not have a strong orientation about religion and about how to do things, even somebody that is underage, be it a person of 30 years old, a child of 20 years old can still confuse the person to do something that will be wrong, or confuse the person to follow another religion. I know it is not everything that is religious that is, but I should not delve into that aspect now. The second reason for in the place of peer group influence in freedom of religion is concupiscence. By concupiscence we mean the natural inclination in man to do evil. In every man, psychology, theology, philosophy, they talk about this. There is that natural concupiscence in man to do evil. It takes a fundamental option committed to the deity you worship to do good. And that is conscience. Conscience is that aspect of the human person that tells him to do good and not to do evil. You see? So if as a human being you have concupiscence, if you don't have a strong upbringing, a laissez-faire upbringing, your concupiscence can easily be worked on by somebody who has a stronger will, a negative one at that, who has a stronger will, and before you know it, you're following something that is bad. The last question, how can the family be an instrument in ensuring practice of freedom of religion as well as peace and harmony in Nigeria? And we said, by adopting principles of liberal approach in child upbringing and socialization. Thank you.
A round of applause for group one, family focus group. Thank you so much. All right. Now, so we go by the number. Group 2, school focus group. A round of applause as the chair and secretary comes forward. The school focus group.
So we're supposed to look at the role of educational institutions in promoting freedom of religion. So when you say the role, it means, all you're looking at is what they do right, what they do wrong, and of course after that we make some recommendations, and that's what we did. So we started with what they do wrong, then we went to what they do right to promote freedom of religion, and then we came up with some recommendations. Little time, so many things to talk about, so many things to argue about, but then we managed to bring out something. And Secretary?
Thank you very much, sir. Standing on already established protocol, we discussed about those things educational institutions have done wrong. And one of those things we discovered in our discussion is that they have not addressed the curriculum properly. Some institutions have not been able to include West African traditional religion in the way the school should go, not at the exam level now. So we're able to discover that based on our own discussion. And we were able to discover that there is discrimination against other religions when it comes to issues of entrance into institutions, especially in some regions in the north. So some people gave examples of people who were denied admission because of the kind of religion they do. Now, I will not be giving examples, but we know those institutions. Now, the next one is what they did not do right in cases of dress code and culture in some schools. Some schools did not give correct standard of dress code that accommodates every other person. And for every person, I believe we have an idea of the international school, Ibadan, and other schools that have issues of dress code. So we also discover that institutions do not allow, or some institutions misinterpret time for prayers. Some did not accommodate other people to pray, and there is no enough orientation on the limitation of freedom of religion in most of the schools. That's another thing some educational institutions are not doing right. So because of time, let me go to what they do right. Now, some institutions are able to allow time for prayers, especially in the higher institution. They give instances of schools that gives time for prayers for everybody. Though we still discover that in some institutions there are shortcomings for West African traditional religions. And again, we were able to discover that there is freedom of dressing in some institutions. We are also able, in our discussion, to discover that tolerance is growing higher compared to how it was in time past. We have examples of institutions like University of Ibadan into the play that 20 years ago to be admitted with some kind of names was more of a problem. So, but we discovered that it has changed, and that is what we are doing right now. So, for our recommendations, because of time. Okay, before I finish that, there are general rules now in schools, I don't know if you know about it, to guide the standard of conduct of everybody, irrespective of your religion. So we have, and there are choices of course, and the city arrangement in some courses as it is put in some schools. But presently we are seeing people missing up now compared to times in the past. But for our recommendations, we are able to put it that institutions should set standards to separate religion from the normal dealings of the school. So there should be standard. So anybody coming know that is coming to meet the standard. We have recommendation that dress code, issues of dress code, issue of discrimination should be abolished. Especially when it comes to entering into universities, you should not be admitted based on your religion or because of your name or because of anything you do. So the last one on our list is that what we have here is that courses like religion and national values as it is in some states should be introduced to your state government, because at the moment Lagos state government has included sufficiently religion and national values for junior secondary schools to introduce everybody to what is African traditional religion, what is Christian religion, what is Islamic religion, not just giving them a bit of what they should know, but they should widen their knowledge at that level to be able to pick interest in West African traditional religion. So those are our recommendations. Okay, for the last one, we should be able to enlighten ourselves, like what we are doing here, and enlighten people of younger ages, especially from our primary schools, especially from the old primary school. We should be able to see how we can improve on our curriculum, and that's the whole essence of our discussion. So thank you for listening.
A round of applause for group 2, the focus on academia. Before you go, any comment or question? Okay, one. Finally.
Okay.
Hello. Good day, everybody.
to form a school curriculum, I think the family front, parents association should be included in formation of school curriculum. In sociology, we have a 3 schools of thought. The home where we come from, the formal school that we go, then we go to the issue of peer pressure. I think peer pressure is the product of these 2 schools of thoughts. So if schools will design school curriculum, they should carry the parents along so that values will be uniform among their students. Nígbà tá à ń dàgbà, tí àwọn òbí wa bá ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá wa fún, if a friend of my father sees me somewhere around Samonda doing something very wrong, he will beat me to my father's house. And my father will thank him that 2 eyes on a child. About 200 eyes will watch him or her. So the 2 schools of thought, the house and the formal school, they are very, very important to form a very healthy society. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. I think that would most likely be included in the decisions. Thank you very much. Okay, so we go next to the 3rd group, the community focus group. Can we have the chair and the secretary for that particular group? A round of applause for them as they come forward.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Latif Akimode. I'm the coordinator of the group 3. I'm not the chairman, I'm the coordinator as a feminist. And our secretary is, our rapporteur is Oluwaseyi and Logun. And Sulaiman, Mr. Sulaiman, Onoyima, Akibeyi, Adejumo, Agesin, and Adeleke Bara. So those are the members of the focus group. So we are talking about the role of community in promoting or achieving freedom of religion. So our rapporteur will lead us now. So if there is anything, I will have to. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Oluwaseyi. Now I'm talking the community focus group, and some of the issues we identified are the lack of proper ideology. I just go through them and then I move to the recommendations. Lack of proper ideology. There's no enlightenment, intolerance, and then we have poor attitude, religious favoritism, lack of emotional intelligence, and amongst others. Now, just quickly move to things I would think are the solutions to some of the problems we have around us in the community. Now, first is an ideological change. There needs to be an ideological reorientation of the people in the community. Take Nigeria, for instance. We have to look for a way to make sure that everyone in Nigeria has a reorientation of what the world is, of what religion is, of how individuals should be. That's so ideological reorientation from the community level to the religious level and moving on to the individual level. So then after that, we talked about a practical ideology where what we have identified as ideology can be practicalized. Instead of just leaving them in our books or in our minds, we can practicalize things that we have identified to be changed. Now, enforcement of those values, enforcement of those ideologies. Let us instill those values into the people and let us establish institutions that will ensure that these values are being entrenched and practiced. Also, we can set up committees, for instance, set up committees to ensure that their interfaith matters can be looked into and settled. Then advocacy. The leaders of communities should be looked onto for support. Their support should be solicited. Then knowledge, enlightenment. I think we've talked about that. The reorientation, the sensitization for the people. Now, tolerance is one of the major problems.
And it's up to the people, when they are re-enlightened, when they are reoriented, they will develop a new attitude towards other people of different faiths, of different backgrounds, and of different, wherever they are from. So it's explained that people tolerate one another in the community. Also the use of language, and that comes out from emotional intelligence. A lot of people lack that emotional intelligence, and they don't know what to say and where and when to say them. Just come and, oh, this is this. And then one of the things, I think we identified something like that yesterday, when we were talking about the X-Men. A lot of us just come out and say, Fulani X-Men. Let's be careful. We have to be careful of how we use our words. And then cohabitation. How can we live amongst ourselves in the society without fear, without discrimination, without favoritism, and understanding of the community background. If a new person is coming into a community, does that person know so much about that community they are going to? What knowledge do you have of that community you are going to? So, for instance, someone like Oluwaseyi, myself, goes to a place like Sokoto State. I've never been there. I need to have an idea of what is going on in that state. What is the prevalent religion? What are the practices of those people? Where should I go and where should I not go? So it's very important to do that. Then we should allow things that unite us more than the ones that divide us. Point of convergence, we can create scenarios, situations that will bring us together rather than divide us. For instance, we can have social events. Even in our religious centers, we can create events, social events that will allow people of other faiths to join us in some of those centers. Religious favoritism should also be stopped, where people are given an advantage over the others because of their own faith or the similarity of their faith to whoever is given the favor. An attitude. We should always try to avoid conflict at all times. We should be good citizens of our country, of our communities, or wherever we find ourselves, and also consider the attitude of the community where we find ourselves. Who are the people? What are they like? What is the exposure? And we need to put all of that into check. Then no coercion. There shouldn't be coercion. No one should be forced into believing what you believe. No one should be forced to believe what other people believe. They should have their own ideas. They should have their own beliefs. Now, in practical conflict situations, what is the need for freedom of religion? Is for dignity, so that each person can maintain their own dignity. That, okay, I am human, and this is what I believe. This is what I want, and no one has forced me into doing this. This is what I want, and I have that. In times of conflict, we can go into proper mediation. People who are peace ambassadors amongst us will understand that there is a need for proper mediation when in practical conflict situations, because apparently the people could not resolve the differences on their own. That was why they generated into conflict. So there's a need for a mediator or a group of mediators to come into play. And while that is going on, there shouldn't be ready-made solutions or textbook solutions, because each conflict is dynamic in its own way. So I can't come and say I want to resolve a conflict in Ibadan local government the same way I resolved conflict 5 years back in Kotagora local government. Those conflicts might be different. The scenarios will be different, and a lot of circumstances are different. So we can't approach conflict the same way. You have to go through afresh into conflict situations. So so far so good. Okay, and then one thing we also noted is that all of what we have come here to do, talking about conflict, religious conflict, violence, interfaith, harmony, and all of that, it still boils down to the community. When the media fails, when government fails, when politics fails, it affects the community as a whole. Religious conflict, religious violence still happens on the community level.
So it still boils down in the end to the community. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Group 3, community focus group. Thank you so much. Do we have any? Okay, you have your recommendations written there. Please submit to him before you go. Thank you so much. A round of applause for this group. Okay, a quick announcement. You can request and suggest the ushers begin to spread this. 2 pieces of paper, or you write the first thing I'm going to talk about on the flip side, which will be side A, and the other thing on the side B. You can start writing it now. What are your recommendations for Tamen regarding the topic of today? It's not impossible that you are not secretary or you are not chairman, or I did not recognize you. I apologize. Okay? So maybe from day 1 or today, please put in words your recommendations. What would you like to say about freedom of religion and how it can be entrenched in our society? Okay, so write it on the first side, side A. On the other side, how would you have preferred this conference to have held, these 2 events? Are there things we did well? Yeah, it's allowed. You can give us some accolades. Are there things we would have preferred that we do? Feel free to comment about the food too. It's allowed. Yeah, prefer. I think we start with a buy in the morning. Coffee and salad in the afternoon. A dikaika in the evening. You have every right to your opinion. Okay, so feel free, give us comments. How else would you have preferred us to hold these 2-day events? Or is it perfect? Are you cool with it? Let us know. Okay, so don't forget on side 1, comment as regards the topic, the theme, freedom of religion, the panacea for peace and harmony in Nigeria. Your own comments, your contributions. Okay, I believe the front sheet should be okay. And if it's not okay, ask for 1 sheet. Extra sheet is allowed. You can ask. Okay. On the other side, recommendations as regards how this event has held from day 1, the flow. What would you have preferred that we have done better? Would you have preferred a different venue? Would you have preferred to be served every hour? Whatever. And then, of course, the sessions. You can also have the session you enjoyed most, or one session that you prefer that we have, that we didn't have. Maybe something that said, should have brought somebody to come and talk about this particular thing, and we didn't talk about it. So, that is for side 2. While that is going on, please let's welcome right here in front the chair and secretary for the Mass Media Focus Group. A round of applause for them as they come forward for the presentation. Mass Media Focus Group. Please, a round of applause for them now. Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, everyone. We are representing Group 4, which is a mass media group, the role of mass media and the freedom of religion. So, my name is Adewale Ajola, and my second person we'll be presenting is Babasheyi Bisola. So, as you know, mass media comprises everything that we'll be discussing. Is the only mass media that can help amplify it to the world. So what we'll be discussing is just in few words about the role of mass media, which is very, very critical, very, very important in our discussion today. Everything we are doing here today, if they did not promote it online, there is no how people, even outside Nigeria, in any country in the whole world, can see that an activities of 2 days happen here. So in everything mass media, the role of online engagement is very, very critical and important. So over to my able secretary.
Good afternoon, all. We talked about the role of mass media in promotion and propagation of freedom of religion. First of all, the first thing we need to do is to avoid false publication, especially online. We must make sure that every publication posted online must be verified. And somebody in our group gave an example which seems very funny. Some people just look at a post, read the first 3 lines of the headline and just send it. That's send it to everybody, post it online. It's very, very wrong. We must read something, we must read it through, we must verify it, and we must post, and when posting, we must make sure it is not offensive. it must be able to create a diplomatic peace between people. Okay? We also talk about abstaining from being biased by social media, by media platforms. Being biased by media platforms. Some platform, due to the head of the platform is a particular religion, would try to prevent other religions from moving forward, from propagating their own point of view, which is very wrong. We must make sure that we allow all religions, all sects, to allow them to freely disseminate their information as far as it is not going to be injurious, affect other people. Okay? We also talk about media as a practitioner should not be tampered, destroyed from, and they should allow them to do their jobs, because due to the head, let's say a publisher or something, due to the head will not allow him to publicize true information because of his own personal gain. We must allow this information to be properly vetted and publicized to the community. Okay? We also talked about shooting and sending of messages to all sundry for the question to know the ways evil is being penetrated in the society, e.g. Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. We talked about that. We must be able to sensitize the community in which people, in the way which people are using religion as a yardstick to do evil. Because the truth of the matter, let us be very sincere and say every religion when we look at it critically, we can see some negative aspects which some people have materialized on to use it to do evil. Like we can see whereby, although I'm not going to mention any religion, but we can see religions which things have been verified, we can see people doing evil all in the name of religion. Because we in Africans, especially Nigerians, we are very, very religious people. We are very, very religious people. We believe in our religion so much that sometimes we can see the facts, but due to our religious beliefs, we will take our religious beliefs better than that fact. We take our religion very, very personal. If you see someone from the Islamic, from the religion, from the Christian, if you see some of them, when they even talk, you'll be like, I've not seen this kind of conviction. So we talk about that. We should make sure our conviction is very standard. Also, finally, talking about government. The government also has a role to play in this religion, because the government must be able to checkmate everything, both positive and negative side of the religion. Thank you.
A round of applause for Group 4, Mass Media Focus Group. Do you have any questions for them? Okay, please, you can have your seat. Finally, private and public focus group. I know there's still Group 6. Okay. So, but Group 5 now, the chair and secretary is the penultimate group, second to the last. Private public focus group. A round of applause for Mr. Chairman and the secretary. So he's not here to move. But please let's manage time. Mr. Chairman.
My name is Emmanuel Ajewin. We are representing the public and private sectors. And the secretary is Jado Emmanuel, who is going to give us the recommendations. We are not going to bore you with so many, but we have summarized everything concerning the public and private sectors. How to maintain peace among the religious faithfuls.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jato Emmanuel, and this is the summary of our recommendation as a group. Our work is to look at the roles of public and private sectors in fostering freedom of religion. We believe that religion is a personal conviction and relationship with the supernatural, and because of this, we resolve that in public and private sectors, the following should be done in order to foster peace and avoid religious crisis. Number one, people should be respected according to their faith in both public and private sector. Private organizations and private organization owners should treat people equally, irrespective of their religious inclinations. Everybody must be employed not because they are a Christian or Muslim or because they are traditionalist, but they should be employed because they are qualified for it. The third point, there should be no favoritism or discrimination in both public and private sectors. Number 4, people should endeavor to know the religious inclination of a job before taking it. Now, what we hinted at here is the fact that you should understand, just like Mr. Sheyi pointed out the other time about traveling to Sokoto, that he needs to understand the terrain, the religious belief system that is dominant in that place, so as to know how to coordinate it or herself in a way, himself actually, in a way that will not cause religious conflict. So the same thing we believe should obtain in sectors, in working sectors, private and public sectors. People should take note of the environment, and they should, before even venturing into such environment, they should know what is obtainable. Then the next one we talk about, people should, private and public sectors, that's number 5. Private and public sectors should not discriminate in terms of dressing. Dressing in all sectors should be strictly, there should not be a discrimination. There should not be a dress code for a particular religion, leaving the other religion outside. Everything should be uniform. If you want a particular dress code, it should obtain for everybody from each religion, traditional Christian and the Islam. There should be love and inclusiveness in all sectors. That's number 6. Then number 7, Federal Character Commission should be active. In this country, we have Federal Character Commission that dictates how things should be shared equally. We have Federal Character that expatiates on how things should be done without discrimination against people based on religion, race, or based on religion or ethnic group. And this, we believe that if this thing is being actively done, if the Federal Character dictates are actively being carried out, there will be less crisis, including religious crisis. Then there should be love, okay. Then there should be flexibility and tolerance for the employees to cope in any religious setting. What we mean by this is that in every situation, employees should also be able to cope with situations. We gave in the discussion, somebody Mr. Sheikh actually made an observation that he is a cameraman by profession, and he will not, because he's a Christian, go to a Muslim setting where they are having a Muslim gathering and go there and say he cannot film the place, he cannot cover the event because he is a Muslim or because he's a Christian. So for us as individuals, we should also understand that it is ethical in our job, in our work system, that we should not, because of our religious inclination, deny people of our services as professionals. Then we say for organizations like NURTW, there should be caution in the use of languages and avoidance of language that can cause religious conflict. NURTW, National Union of Road Transport Workers, they are a major sector that interface with the public, and many of the conflicts can actually be generated by inappropriate use of words. So we are encouraging and we are making recommendations that people should be, in all sectors, should be cautious of how they use words that could cause religious conflicts. Government should stop inciting or using any group for political motives in a way that could cause conflict. For whatever role government wants to use any group to play, they should always be cautious of the fact that if they are not used well, conflicts might emerge. Greetings in workplaces should be official and not religious. Everybody should be greeted in workplace. Your greetings and languages should be official languages and not religious languages. Government should find quick and lasting solutions to religious crises, especially in public sector. Mr. Sheyi, the previous the secretary for Group 3, noted the fact that there are some situations, conflict situations, where you need the help of experts. So what we are saying is that government should be very quick in nipping at the bud every form of or every element of religious crisis, once it is noted that this is actually a crisis and it can generate into something big, they should quickly nip it in the bud. If they don't have the apparatus, they can secure the work, or they can secure the service of a professional or expert in field of mediation and conciliation. Then government, then the last one I have here is teaching of religious studies in school should be at the same level. What we mean by same level is equal level. And curriculum should accommodate all religion, Christian, Islam, traditional, every religion should be accommodated in the curriculum, and every subject should be taught equally without any bias to any of the disciplines. Thank you so much for listening.
A round of applause for Group 5. They just explained to us the role of the private and public sector in ensuring freedom of religion. I'm sure we have Facebook lovers here. Are you aware that this program is being streamed live on Facebook? Yes. www.facebook.com/takingallmenbrethren. So you can share so that people see your face. Okay? Those who are wondering where have you been since yesterday, go on Facebook, like the page, and share it right now. In fact, I just got that I'm saying it now, and I'll be on Facebook like that. Okay, I like that. So please go ahead, share it, tag yourself, tag organizations that you like to know. Tamed can do with some funding, so you can tag some organizations that will be good, probably with funding and all that. Of course, that is Facebook. And like I said, it is live, so you can follow the event. Very good. So, the last but not the least, they'll be telling us the role of religious leaders in ensuring freedom of religion. A round of applause for the chair and secretary of Group 6. Wow, I love this. A round of applause for them. You are not seeing what I'm saying. But finally, we have a group that allows women to present. Please jam your hands together for them. Madam Chair. She said there'd be an award for this.
Yes. Our group is going to talk about the role of leadership and what contributions to freedom of religion leaders are supposed to. We all know that everything rises and falls with leadership, and it's essential, very, very important that those people we call leaders are taught, are led, are educated, are informed about what good leaders are supposed to do, especially when it comes to religion. I know some of you will know that in the past, many people have been killed by their own religious leaders. They've been even up till now, about a few weeks ago, I've seen that some leaders have asked their members to take gin and detour to drink it. That is the effect of leadership. And that is what we are going to be talking about, because leadership contribution to freedom of religion is going to go a long way in consolidating everything we have been talking from Group 1 to Group 7. And I want you to listen very attentively as our secretary, our able secretary, takes on some of this role. My name is Victoria Afolabi. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Olashe Fumi, Secretary of Group 6, and as you said earlier, we'll be talking about the role of religious leader and what should be their contribution to the freedom of religion. We are having two subtopics. The one is, what should be their contribution to the freedom of religion? Firstly, we are saying religious leaders should know their faith. They should let the people under their faith know what they stand for and remove any heart of bias. They should let people know what they stand for, what they preach, and what they represent, and remove any form of bias. Religious leaders should not adore the rich people. ignoring the fact that they should be teach the heart of peace with no form of bias. They should not adore the rich people. They should not ignore the poor people. They should take everyone together and teach them the act of freedom. Number 3, we said leaders ought to live in line with what they are preaching, knowing that they are the representative of God. We said earlier on in the group that leaders should live in line with their message. They should let their day-to-day life, they should let their everyday life be in line with what they are preaching. If we are standing for peace in religion, we should let our life stand for peace in religion. And we also said we should always speak objectively. Wherever we are in public, leaders should always speak objectively. Yeah, we also said leaders should always speak objectively when we are in public, knowing we all brought and raised from different levels. We should not judge anyone according to their beliefs, according to their religion, according to what they serve. We should judge everyone objectively, we should speak objectively, and we should relate to each other religion, knowing no religion is superior or inferior to each other. We should relate with everyone with love and peace, knowing that Christian is not superior to Muslim, neither Muslim is superior to traditionalists. We should relate with everyone with peace and with love. And we also say that leaders have to look at certain fundamental issues. The whole of religion leaders should pay more attention to salvation rather than material things. We should all pay attention to salvation. We should all let what we are preaching, what we are doing is equal to salvation rather than material things, rather than cars, houses or everything. We should let our gaze be on salvation. And we also say that leaders should preach to their fellows about freedom of religion. Let not them say that who practice other religion are inferior or superior to other ones. Leaders should teach and talk on how there should be religious tolerance for everybody. So far, other practice differently does not mean they are wrong or right. As a leader, we are ought to teach everyone. We are ought to tolerate everyone. So far, others are practicing Muslim or they are traditionalists or they are Christian doesn't mean. So far, I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm superior or I'm right or I'm wrong. So far, others are traditionalists doesn't mean they are wrong or they are right. We should tolerate everyone with love and with peace. And to be a good leader, we should also be knowledgeable and properly informed. To be a leader, we should be knowledgeable, we should live by examples, we should attend seminars such as TAME. And we also say we should not influence people in a way that people will feel or we should accept our religion by force. We should not influence people wrongly. We should not talk wrongly to make others feel like what they are doing, what their belief is wrong or right. We should not influence them badly. We should let them know what they believe is right, either is right or wrong. We should not stand in place of God to judge anyone. We should accept everyone with love and peace. And lastly, on what leaders need to do, we said leaders should also be trained and lead by examples. I've said that earlier on. As a leaders, we have to be led by examples. We should let our everyday life influence in what we are doing. We should let people see us and be able to emulate our day-to-day lives. So lastly, we also talk about roles of religious leaders in promoting religious freedom. Number 1 here, we said religious leaders should allow intermarriage. We should not be biased by saying our Christian son or Christian daughter should not marry a Muslim brother or a Muslim sister or a traditionalist. We should allow intermarriage. We should promote intermarriage. And we also say leaders should stop discriminating. We should not discriminate anyone, either they are a Muslim or a Christian. We should not discriminate. And they should start elevating one religion to another. They should not put one religion over the other one. They should stop elevating one religion to another. And second to the last year, we said we should engage everyone on religion education. We should let everyone have a religion education so they can learn, they can know the purpose and reasons for religion, not to fight, not for war, not for terrorism, but for peace and love and growth. And lastly here, we said they should stop persecuting people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have questions for them? Religious leaders. Okay. You are afraid of them. That's interesting. That will go down on record. People now being afraid of women. But please a round of applause for that group. For once, a group allowed women to present. Not only that,
You know, the chair is a woman and the secretary a woman. Awesome. I like that. I really, really like that. Now, I'm going to invite for the adoption of these reports, which will be put together as one and will be made public as a document. Mr. Omoyemi Oni to come forward alongside, okay, he's come with someone for the adoption. A round of applause for him, please.
First things first, I'd like to thank everyone here for coming. And myself and my comrade, Mr. Uchuku Amadi, would like to officially adopt all the reports on behalf of Taking All Men. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, every one of you. Your recommendations are going to be adhered to and to be used positively to promote peace in this country. Thank you so much.
All right, in case you are wondering, so which report? The one you have been hearing. So I know somebody might be asking, so what are they adopting? What they have been presenting since they just adopted it. So we're up for the next thing on the agenda, which is arguably the very last, awards presentation. And this goes directly to budget. So can we please have up front the representative of budget here. Is he still around? Or the Your State Rep will collect it on the behalf? Can we have up front a representative of budget here while our board chair makes the presentation? A round of applause for budget. Thank you so much. The second award, an outstanding achievement award. This goes directly to one of our resource persons, Dr. Joseph T. Atang. It's your time. I can see you holding this camera. You are next, sir. You know, remember that song? A round of applause for Dr. Joseph T. Atang. A round of applause for him. Congratulations, sir. Thank you so much for coming. All right, the next award, another outstanding achievement award. This goes directly to Dr. David Akeju. A round of applause for Dr. David Akeju. Doctor, you're welcome. This is for his outstanding contribution taking All Men Brother Freedom of Religion 2019 conference. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. All right, and the next award, Outstanding Achievement Award for Outstanding Contribution at Taking All Men Brother Freedom of Religion 2019 conference. This award goes to Awishe Olakunle Olugbe Baba himself. A round of applause for Baba. I need somebody to help Daddy take a picture with his phone. Congratulations, sir. I'm sure members of this group know the meaning of Eriwoya. Congratulations, sir. All right, the awardees, yes, let's take pictures together.
Okay. Paparazzi, photoras, gugueras. This is red carpet, blue carpet, tarmac carpet, everything all together. A round of applause for our guests, our awardees. Now, I think on behalf of everybody, Baba, I think you have a word on behalf of all the awardees.
On behalf of the recipients I would like to express our appreciation to the organizers of this event. And for seeing us worthy for this award. I personally, I don't think I merit the award. Because when we talk of religious tolerance, we want to eschew laying blames. But as far as I'm concerned, the shoe is pinching me as a traditionalist. And as such, I will lay blames where they belong, particularly when it belongs to government, which is playing the role of divide and rule, abandoning some people, some religion. When you talk of Buddhism, when you talk of Ekanka, when you talk of Krishna consciousness, when you talk of all the various branches of religion, they are promoting peace. And as such, government as an institution should be able to actually promote all religions. Like I contributed in the media group, I exclude the media practitioners to make sure that they are non-partisan. They don't allow their religious belief to affect the way they judge and promote other religions. The level of understanding of African traditional religion, like I said, is very, very poor. Very, very poor in the fact that rather than elevating the traditional religion, we are busy elevating those that have been elevated, that's Christianity and Islam, to the detriment of African traditional religion. And you see in the papers, once they talk of kidnapping, they say ritual, something, and of course, they attribute it to traditional religion. I appreciate the organizers of this event. Like I said, I've participated in some of their events before in Lagos, but this is on a grander scale. And I pray God that He should be with them as they want peace for Nigeria. God Almighty will also visit them with peace in their homes, in their businesses, in everything. And to all of us here, I pray God will visit us with the peace of mind, which is very, very essential. We have come here from various locations. We say Ayure, Abore, Adifafolobo, tí ó ti àyàbọ̀ sílẹ̀, àtàyún, àtàbọ̀, ojú ológbò kiri bí, ojú wa ò ní rí bí. Àárín lọ́sàn-án ọ̀sán ní sánwà, àárín lóru, òru ò ní lù wá, àárín ní kùtùkùtù ìdájí, àní gbígbẹ́ ẹlẹ́yẹ, a máa lọ rí, a máa bọ̀ rí, àbọ̀rú, àbọ̀ ẹ̀, àbọ̀ ìbọn tó ti rí àjọ.
A round of applause for Baba. I think you can do better. In case you don't know, Baba, Chief Olakunle Olibire is the Awishen Secretary General of Indigenous Faith of Africa, Ebute Meta, a renowned leader in ancestral religion within and outside the country. He is an advocate who strives to propagate the virtues of our ancestral beliefs and to correct the long-held prejudices against it. He has a degree in statistics from the prestigious University of Ibadan and certifications from the Institute of Management Studies in London. A round of applause for that one more time. And also let us appreciate all our resource persons and awardees. A round of applause for them all. Finally, to the organizers of this event, taking all men, brother, the board, staff, friends and well-wishers, can we give a round of applause? I know we can all spell item 77. Those who are watching from where you can send your own, you can maybe send your email address, we'll fax the email and the amala to you. But it's only those who are attending that get to eat the benefits. All right, thank you so much. Before we start eating, I want us to take our closing prayer. It is my pleasure and privilege to thank you all for coming to this particular two-day event. On behalf of Carmen, thank you so much for coming. Let's rise to take the closing prayer. One prayer connects us all. We started with it, we shall end with it. And that is the second stanza of our national anthem. Oh God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow and live in just and true. Great lofty heights attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. God bless Nigeria.